So Scott, going back to the first trial last year, we know that suspicions were aroused as a result of the fact that Lucy Letby was apparently present when most of these unfortunate events occurred, and therefore there was an idea of there being no such thing as coincidence, and therefore there was this idea that it was originally statistically driven, although obviously the case rested on the medical evidence. The fact that they produced a spreadsheet which appeared to show that there was 25 bad events of different babies, and in the spreadsheet we saw that Lucy Letby was the only nurse or member of hospital staff who was present at each of these bad events. So just tell us a little bit about what these events were and whether or not that really was something which was statistically unusual.
They're looking at the babies undergoing what was termed in the trial as a crash. So we're talking about a baby that suddenly stops breathing, stops moving, loses heart rate, and in many cases what they're actually referring to is the measurement of one particular value, which is the oxygen saturation. So everybody will have heard or read in the paper about these babies having desaturations. Now, what I find curious, really, and what a lot of commentators have found curious about that spreadsheet, is that it appears to have been extremely cherry-picked. In the case of this neonatal ward, when you talk to midwives and you talk to neonatal nurses and doctors, generally speaking, they'll tell you that over the course of a day, you might see 40, 50 of these such events. Most of them entirely sort of, it'll be a blip for a moment and then it'll recover itself and off it goes. The issue here is that instead of looking at all of the events occurred across the unit and then saying, okay, yes, we can line up these particular members of staff to it, what it appears that they've done is that they've gone and picked the events that fit with Lucy, and that's what you've ended up with on the spreadsheet.
So in fact, you could take any nurse other than Lucy and you could have looked at all of the times when that nurse was on duty when there was one of these types of events, and you could have constructed a similar spreadsheet where that nurse is the only person who was present for all of those events.
I have no doubt you could do that for every nurse and every doctor who ever walked into that unit.